Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Vibes, and I'd love to welcome here Steve Griggs, who is a landscape designer and an author as well. And we're going to get to know him and find out what he's all about. Steve, tell us a little bit more about you.
Hey, Kyle, glad to be here. Yeah, so we do landscape design in the New York area, right? So basically, some artists sculpt, some artists paint. My canvas happens to be people's backyards, right? So a client will call me in and they want a vacation in their backyard. So we basically design the pool, the landscaping, the lighting, the outdoor kitchens, the entire backyard of it. So I've been doing it for 40 years. You know, I'm the guy, man. I'm the guy that blue collar. That's it. No easy way, old school. I still do it old school. I think old school is the only school, right?
Right. Do you do topiary as well?
If the client requests, like a contemporary type garden, yeah. Again, our goal is to try to get inside people's head and intuitively design their backyards, and the end result is get them what they in love with, that they can form memories with their families and create beautiful experiences and enhance their life through landscaping. That's pretty much the 30,000-foot view of what we do.
I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but what got you started doing this?
Oh, man, I've been doing this since I went to college for it, then got out of school for it, then started my own business. I mean, I remember back I think it was like the 70s, my dad would in construction in New York City. And there was New York City was broke at the time, and he would be laid off from work and he would start trimming people's bushes, and he would bring me to the job site and I'd start learning how to trim bushes. And then after a while I learned that he would drop me off, leave, come back, collect the money, give me a couple bucks, and he kept all the money. And that's when the wheels turned. So that's kind of how it all started. I was like 13. I don't know. I was young.
What was the first one that really kind of set you apart from everybody else?
The first, when I started my own business and that
right.
A guy gave me a shot. The first guy gave me a shot. He's like, "You want to landscape my building?" And I said, "Sure." And I just, took the dive in and wasn't afraid, and just got it done. That was the first one. That was, wow, 40 years ago.
What really sets you apart from everyone?
So I think my niche is my specialty is project management, project execution, and really listening to the client's needs and wants, right? Because when I'll design a project and after it's all done, I'm pretty much gone, right? So they have to live there and they have to really be in love with it. I think a lot of designers that I see, sometimes they can draw a pretty picture, but it's the execution of the project. I think everybody who's in the landscaping business, if you're an architect or whatever, should be in the field, get your hands dirty. And I'm not saying you need to be an expert in every aspect of it, but at least know enough of all the elements: masonry, planting, lighting, irrigation. Just, know enough of it. Don't just become a armchair quarterback, as we like to say, right?
Right. And you're able to get into people's heads and really get an idea of what they want.
Yeah, so they pay me to think, right? They don't pay me to dig a hole. They pay me to think and create the vision. So my job is to take what's in their head, put it on paper, and then from the paper, translate it to a living, breathing backyard, right?
Right.
I take it very lightly, but from what I'm told, it's not that easy to do. It's just been doing it I've installed thousands of jobs. I guess like you do anything enough times, it becomes second nature, right?
Right. And this has gotten you on television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, television, national articles, podcasts like this, a bunch of other podcasts. We had written the landscaping book. And I think you need to become the authority in the space, right? If you really want to excel in it, you really need to pick your niche and become excellent at that niche. Don't become the jack of all trades. Pick one niche, whether it's plantings or pools or whatever, and then hone that skill as best as you can. Become an expert in that one field, right? Because you
Right.
want to be the guy, because there's thousands of companies they can call. But how do you separate yourself from everybody else? That's the real trick of it, right? How do you two guys show up at your house? Which guy are you going to pick, right? By
Right.
having the book. The book helps create authority and credibility, right? Knowing what you're talking about, having education, all helps you become you have that altitude to set yourself above everybody else.
Now, have you been approached about doing your own show?
No, but if you
No.
know anyone, that would be cool. But yeah, we have a lot of unique stories because we're in the New York area, very tough market. People are super demanding. It's just people like, they'll spend four, five, six, 700,000 on a backyard, which is kind of cool. But we can also design a smaller backyard, right? So it's really relative. It's relative, right? It doesn't matter, right? It's whatever you're comfortable with. A swimming pool is a swimming pool, right? You can get wet in a $29 blow up Walmart pool as opposed to a $300,000 pool. It just all depends on your lifestyle and what you want out of it. You want to build it for longevity. You want to use superior products. You don't want to be fixing it every year. So there's a lot that goes into the projects, right? It's really but it all starts with the mindset, right?
Right.
In my own head, right? So at first it was like, wow, who would spend 300 grand on a backyard in New York for a swimming pool? Because you can only use it like 10 weeks out of the year, right?
Right.
So I had to get over that hurdle in my own head, right? There's a lot of business owners got to get out of their own head.
What's the most unique one you've done so far?
It varies. Unique, top of a mountain, not how to build a road to get up there. You hit solid rock, you have to jackhammer the rock out. You always got to find a way, right? You always have to find a way. I mean, there's a lot of unique projects, but building a project that's on top of a mountain is pretty tricky, right?
Right.
Logistically, you have to get a crane, you have to get all the material in, and then also on the other side, building a rooftop garden in the middle of New York City is also a challenge of its own, right? How do you get the material 30 stories up in a building? So you got to deal with parking tickets and all that other stuff. So I mean, it's a good business. It's a good business. It's listen, Kyle, anything else, man, everything has good and bad, right?
Right. Right.
It's just everything. I don't care what kind of business in your field, everything has its pluses and minuses. I think you got to love what you're doing, first of all, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Have you ever gotten any really strange, out of this world kind of requests?
Every day.
Well, you got to talk about those.
And so what they're doing now is they're going on Pinterest and they're showing me, they're scrolling on Pinterest, right?
Right.
Stuff stuff that's out of the ordinary, and then you have to have that come to Jesus moment where it all starts with money. You got to have that money talk. It's painful sometimes, but it's very important that you have that early in the project so they're not building expectations that you can deliver on something that's just not financially feasible, right?
Right.
So that's also a delicate subject that has to be addressed. I think people like when you're straightforward and you don't BS them and you tell them the truth, right? That's my formula. It seems to have worked. Like we talked about earlier, old school. We do it old school way.
Do you help out those folks who maybe don't have a bunch of money to spend?
Yeah, you try to want to design it. That's my job, right? Is to say, if you have X amount to spend on a project, let's see how we can value engineer that pot of money to get the most bang for the buck, right? Okay, so maybe you want a patio around your pool, but maybe it does have to be a stone patio. Maybe we can look at pavers or some type of stamped concrete. It really, at the end of the project, is how do you get them to how does it all tie together? You don't want to spend $400,000 on a backyard if your house is worth 150, right?
Right.
So you have to help guide them through it, and that's my job. There's vinyl pools, there's gunite pools, right? There's two different pools. you got just as wet in either one. But once you decorate the whole backyard with the landscaping, the lighting, it's the whole package that really, and the night lighting is special too, right? It's the whole package. You want to go wow. When you walk in the backyard, it's be like, wow, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can just carefully select materials and products that doesn't have to, everything doesn't have to be expensive.
But I've read that you're willing to go just about anywhere to find that right material to put in the yard, right?
Yeah, I've been to Tennessee picking out trees. I've been to Georgia. I go to Pennsylvania to hand select certain boulders for a waterfall. You know, it all depends on the client and the personal touch. You know, you have to have the personal touch. I think that really helps out as well. That they can always reach out to me, and I'm the guy. I'm the guy. Like when it hits the fan, they want to be able to call somebody, right? Because it's construction, things happen, things go wrong, and they want to know that you have their back and they feel comfortable you trusting you with their home in their backyard when you dig an 8-foot hole in their backyard.
Well, we mentioned earlier about your book. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So yeah, so it's a book called Straight Dirt. It's a lot of pictures in it. I'll put the link here. You can give it to, I have a digital version. You can give it to your listeners. But the book was mainly for, you don't make money with a book, obviously, so they say, but the book is really to raise your credibility, right? Raise your credibility that you are the expert in this field. So if you're in a business and you're listening to business, write a book, do a good job on the book. Don't just slap together an ebook, because the books really help, especially in my business. My business is very visual, right? So it has to have high-end photography. It has to look clean and crisp, and it glossy cover, so it shows that luxury feeling to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks super rich, right? I should have yeah. So it's a nice coffee table book. But it's helped. All that stuff helps. Social media, podcasts, all that. You want to become known. You got to get your name out there.
So where can folks pick up the book?
You can go to Amazon. You can go to my website, Steve Griggs Design. It's called Straight Dirt, New York's premier landscaper. Tells it like it is. So the publisher came up with that name because I'm from New York. Straight Dirt. I am going to give you the business straight up. All right. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to tell you if you can do the project or not. I will give you the straight answers. People appreciate that. Like it's kind of like a lost art. People are so used to being like scammed and BS. So we just like to give it to them straight. I think that really helps. If you're in business and you're listening to this, like be honest with your clients and just tell them like it is. Whether you agree with them or not, tell them what you know, because you're the expert. That's why they're bringing you in there.
But what have you done for your own backyard?
We keep it low profile, right? Like you can't, you show up in the pickup truck, right? You got to show up in the truck. You can't be, can't be too flashing it. Again, it's the shoemaker mentality, right? I'm busy working, making your backyard beautiful. No, I have a nice home. I'm just kidding. I have a nice home.
Yeah, that plumber whose own sink is always leaking.
Yeah. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
And you said your website is stevegriggsdesign.com?
Yep. And the Instagram at Steve Griggs Design. We have the pictures in there. And we look at some job sites together, and we just try to be real. I'm just a regular guy from New York, right? Like I'm like you, man. I'm just a regular guy. Went to school in the South. We'd say the good old boy, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I will put all of your links in the description just to make it easier for folks to find you. But Steve, thank you so much for coming on the show today, man. It's been really a pleasure.
Great, Kyle. Nice to meet you, and have a great day.
And also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back. Please hit that subscribe button for my regulars. You guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. Until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless, and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network